It was early Sunday morning, and the sun lit up the sky in orange and pink. Birds chirped and leaves rustled as animals moved about. The smell of fresh coffee mixed with the scent of dew-kissed grass. A cheeky squirrel darted under the old band van, its bushy tail flicking. It was an ordinary Sunday morning, nothing miraculous, as some people were waking from their rest. The air carried a cool spring breeze that felt good on the skin. The fragrance of morning breakfast allured my senses. I got out of bed, glanced at my book, and then sat up to prepare for my trip to Block Island. I invited a close friend to come along and watch the band perform that night on the island. This was going to be a lot of fun, especially since it was her first time visiting the island. Suzanne slipped into her jeep, the warm morning sun casting a golden hue over the charming streets of Bethel, Connecticut. Her friends settled into the passenger seat, a smile of anticipation on their faces. They drove to a delightful local cafe, its inviting facade adorned with colorful flowers and the scent of freshly baked pastries wafting through the air. As Suzanne stepped inside, the familiar sound of the coffee grinder welcomed her, and she eagerly ordered her favorite iced coffee, savoring the thought of the rich, cold brew that was about to become a part of her cherished morning ritual.
This coffee is really good.
Yeah,
I like this place.
The cafe buzzed with friendly chatter, creating a cozy atmosphere that felt like home. Customers were enjoying their morning coffee before the day's rush began, especially before the churchgoers arrived. She entered quickly to get her morning fix. While her friend stayed behind, Suzanne headed out to pick up Chaz, as they were both going to the cafe together. She slipped into her olive drab Jeep Wrangler parked neatly at the curb, the one interior faintly smelling of adventure and the open road. With a turn of the key, the engine roared to life, cutting through the tranquil morning air of the quiet, small New England town. As she navigated the tree-lined streets, each corner revealing quaint houses with their charming picket fences, she felt a sense of urgency to reach Bridgeport on time. The scenic drive beckoned her forward, the promise of the day ahead fueling her anticipation. Chaz had just woken up after a full night's sleep. He changed into a red t-shirt and got out of bed, heading to the kitchen for breakfast before preparing to leave. He knew that at any moment, Suzanne would arrive to pick him up, and then they would head north on Interstate 95 to Point Judith, Rhode Island, to meet up with everyone else. It takes her 45 minutes to reach Chaz's house, where he is already waiting outside in anticipation of her arrival. As soon as she reaches the cab, she drives up with a big smile and greets him with a cheerful, "Hello." She opens the Jeep door and asks him, "How are you doing, honey? Are you ready for our little trip? I'm so excited to go. I've never been there before, and I'm looking forward to seeing a reggae band. It's going to be brilliant." As they drove away, it felt like a perfect day. The traffic on I-95 was flowing smoothly, and they estimated it would take about 2 hours to reach the Rhode Island border, depending on whether the traffic continued to cooperate. The sun was shining, and a cool breeze was blowing, making for a wonderful start to their glorious Sunday morning drive. Upon reaching the dock, they paused for a moment to commemorate the occasion by taking a selfie. It was a bright morning as they waited to board the Block Island ferry. The air was filled with a crisp ocean breeze as the ferry made its 20-minute journey to the island, loaded with cars, trucks, bicycles, and pedestrians all on holiday to spend the day there. They reached the island, and vehicles departed from the ferry in an orderly fashion before the passengers could disembark. The sea was calm, which made the journey tolerable for both of them. They strolled casually along the narrow streets on their way to the Yellow Kittens Tavern, where they would spend the night with the band. Suzanne thought about how exciting it was. The idea of spending an entire evening with professional Jamaican musicians made her smile with delight. They arrived at the tavern to meet the band. Most took the same ferry but chose to walk since it was a short and nice stroll. The street was busy with tourists enjoying their day trip. The sun shone brightly in a clear blue sky, creating a perfect day for a stroll down the charming street. A gentle breeze carried the sweet scent of blooming flowers, inviting adventure around every corner. As the night unfolded, the atmosphere crackled with energy, pulsating like a live wire. The audience, a sea of eager faces, was filled with palpable excitement, their anticipation soaring with each passing moment. When the band took to the stage, the air erupted in a wave of enthusiasm, with fans cheering and dancing, completely swept away in the exhilarating performance. The musicians poured their hearts into every note, igniting the crowd into a wild frenzy as people sang along, swayed to the rhythm, and lost themselves in the electrifying sound that filled the venue. She spotted a very muscular man dancing shirtless on the floor by himself. She saw him, their eyes met, and off she went to dance with him. All the women in the club stood in awe, watching her move around the floor as if tomorrow didn't matter. Some women clearly didn't like it, and their expressions showed it. But she didn't care. Tonight, she was going to have a ball and live like a queen in his arms. I sat back and watched the entire scene unfold, my jaw dropped in disbelief. I thought she was with me for this trip, but here she was, dancing freely with someone else. All I could do was shake my head at what I was witnessing. As the night progressed, she danced some more, not leaving his side for a moment. I wasn't angry, I was just amazed by the display before my eyes. Monday arrived, and it was time to go home. I walked onto the boat first, followed by Susan and her friend. She felt good about herself and said the trip was well worth it. It was a good escape from the Monday. On the way home, we talked about everything that had happened the night before. She mentioned how every woman was watching her and the man without a shirt. I simply replied, I thought he was one of those people who, you know, rides the small yellow school bus. The special bus. The most important lesson I learned from the trip is that you shouldn't bring fish to the sea, and you shouldn't bring sand to the beach.
Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.